What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Thursday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. It is episode 120 of the Throwdown with Matt. And tonight we are throwing down with pro wrestler, the top of the food chain, Mr. Blade Brown. How you doing, Blade?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Man, if I were doing much better, there'd probably be 3 or 4 of me.
I'm gonna steal that one. I ain't never heard that one before. I'm gonna steal that one.
Have at it. So, for those of you that are watching this live, if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So we'll go ahead and get started with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
So I've been wrestling for 3 years. 3 years. This past April made 3 years, man, since I made my debut.
Nice. So who actually trained you or is training you?
So I came out of the Firestar Pro Wrestling Academy under LeBron Cozone.
Yeah.
About North Carolina or Southeast Wrestling, period. You know who Cozone is. So,
yeah. I've had several Firestar folks on the show previously.
Yeah.
Gary the Love Machine.
Yes.
I've had some both members of Brutality Incorporated, Mark and Alex. Some really good guys come out of that school, man.
Yeah, man, it's we're a family for real.
Absolutely. So I know that, I've been kind of following your social media recently, and I know that you're sort of on the shelf right now, recovering from a pectoral surgery. How has that been going? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazing right now. The recovery is a little bit slow in the beginning, but I mean, in 2 weeks, that'll be 2 months post-op, and we're moving right along. So, I mean, the incision is closed up nicely.
Oh, nice.
Get my range of motion back and all. So I'll start building my strength here soon and trying to get back as soon as possible, to be honest.
That's great, man. And just know that our thoughts and prayers for rapid recovery and healing and all that are definitely with you.
I appreciate it. It means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, brother. So in terms of your early professional wrestling training, what would you say was the hardest aspect of professional wrestling for you to wrap your mind and body around?
Man, that's tough. It's really just in the beginning, it was just trying to the balance between the actual wrestling and being a superstar. Does that make sense? So
It does.
I come from football, and that's all activity and action. I mean, yeah, you got to think and all, but once things become repetitious, with wrestling, man, it was just so much thrown at you at one time, and it's like the in-ring stuff was simple. The actual motions and the move, all of that was simple to me. I could grasp that easily, but it was everything else, the walking, the talking, the being different, all of that, and trying to figure that out in the beginning. Not saying that I have that figured out now, but it's just that was a new concept for me.
Right. The concept of using your body to physically tell a story is I'm sure it's definitely at times sort of hard to grasp.
It is, and I mean it's getting easier. It just takes reps, time, and all that. But it's like in the beginning, that was it. Like you said, it was the hard concept. It was a hard concept to grasp because anybody can do the motions. I mean, you can put a monkey in there and teach them motions, and then they can do it. But like you said, telling a story with your body, like to me, that just didn't compute at first.
Gotcha. Speed round. Bobby Lashley.
Oh, freaking my dog. The reason why. the inspiration. That's what inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, he is something else, and I'm glad to see him continuing to have a successful run now that he's in AEW.
Man, Lashley, for me as a kid, Lashley meant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that swole black dude come out there, I'm like, man, this dude is everything. And when he left, I was about 9 or 10 years old when he left WWE the first time, and I was hurt. But then seeing him in Bellator and
Oh yeah,
like just seeing him still doing things like that, I was like, man, that inspiration.
yeah,
Inspiration.
and you know, um, I've always had a lot of respect for the professional wrestlers that have at least done some training in shoot martial arts, because I feel like it adds a lot to how they present themselves in the ring, and it adds just an air of legitimacy to them. That the guys that don't have that background, I'm not saying that they can't seem legitimate as well, but when that this guy could legitimately hurt you, it's a whole different aspect.
Absolutely.
So I'm presuming that you've been at least a fan of this stuff the majority of your life. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes, sir, it is.
So, what would you say is your earliest wrestling related memory?
My earliest wrestling related memory.
Yeah.
I was 3 years old. It was my 3rd birthday, and they shouted, and it was like, "Your birthday cake is ready." And I shot down the stairs, and I go down the stairs, and I look on my birthday cake. I see a red Monday Night Raw cake, themed cake, and it's Kane up there, and freaking who else? I remember Kane, and I think it was Mankind or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, man, this is. I was so excited about that cake. And then my uncle, at the time I lived with my uncle, we lived in the same house. Huge wrestling fan. Without him, I would not be in wrestling at all. He would watch wrestling dang near 24/7. And I'd be sitting there right up under his thumb watching it with him. So
Yep.
it was just that cake, and then being like watching it with them. And I mean, just seeing guys like Kurt Angle, freaking Rikishi, like seeing all those different dudes out there, man. It was just watching with my uncle.
That is awesome. And what a cool memory to have to remember that cake so vividly. That is just
It's crazy. I got a picture of it somewhere in my house. Because I remember I'm standing on the table. I'm 3 years old. I'm standing on the table with this oversized blue shirt and my drawers, and I'm blowing out the cake, and you can clearly see Mass Kane on the cake. And I was just as happy as I could. I was so happy. Yeah.
That is awesome. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
I mean, I love going to the gym. Love roller skating. You mentioned shoot fighting before. Like I love, MMA training, boxing training and stuff. I love that. Um, I like guns. I like shooting. I like building stuff. I like working with my hands. I like being outside. I love history. I love going to the zoo. I love the museum. I love just being out and seeing new things. You know what I mean? Really simple.
Absolutely, man.
I'm
Yeah,
just simple, man.
nothing wrong with that. I was noticing on your social media recently. It looks like you've got some sort of a track and field coaching relationship going.
Yeah, I coach track because I work at a middle school. So, I coach football out there and I also coach track.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Very cool. So, we're mostly a wrestling related show here, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture. So, and I always ask because I'm always looking for recommendations. Are you watching or listening to anything cool right now?
If I'm being honest, no. The main
Okay.
thing that outside of wrestling is I love football. Obviously, that was my number one sport growing up, so I'll watch that. But I watch a lot of old stuff. I listen to a lot of old music, man. I don't like none of this new stuff. It's corny to me. It's lame to me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, in terms of football, who are your teams?
So roll tide, roll
Hey,
tide.
my wife is a University of Alabama graduate.
Ah, salute her. That's a good woman. Yeah, like my whole
Mm,
family from Alabama, pretty much. So thankfully they chose Alabama instead of Auburn because my life would be a lot different.
yeah, that's for
And
sure.
I've been an Eagles fan since I was a youngin', man. I've had some rough years growing up, especially in late middle school and high school. But as of lately, obviously things have been pretty
Hmm. Yeah, man. And another Alabama connection, man. I love to see Jalen Hurts doing as well as he is, man.
It's amazing to see that man. He is the epitome of like don't give up. Um,
Yep,
from everything he went through in college and all he did, he didn't pout. He just got better, and
yep,
now he's a Super Bowl champ. Like you
yep.
can't. That's the type of dude that you look to and you tell your players this is who you need to look up to. You tell your sons
Absolutely.
this is somebody's example that you want to follow.
Yeah, and you don't he seems like just a good human being too. You don't hear about him getting in trouble. You just he just does his thing, does his job, and just stays out of the out of all the trouble that you can get into in professional sports.
Indeed, he's the man.
Absolutely. So, outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Outside of wrestling,
Yeah.
um, honestly, my mom. My mom, man, she's just it's like the hardest working person I've ever met in my entire life. She ain't never made no excuses. Life has dealt her a bad hand in many different ways, and she just never let it stop her at all. And she always passed that down to us and was like, it don't matter. She fought too hard for us to ever give up with anything, and for us to not work hard and not have a good work ethic. So that's definitely my mom.
Well, she's got a son that loves her, so she must be doing something right.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like you're pretty close to your family. So what does your family think about all of this? What do they think about the fact that you're pursuing professional wrestling?
They're not surprised. Growing up, I mean, I've always talked about it, always loved it, always wanted to horse around, wrestle, do the moves on my little sister, my brother,
Hmm.
whatever. But and then I've always been the person growing up that I'm gonna go for it. So when I told them that after I was done with football that I was gonna try this thing out, they were like, "Good," because it's something you need to see because you've been around it your entire life, you loved it forever. So they love it. They think it's great.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. Speed round. Damian Priest.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. His comedy stuff that he does is actually underrated. He is actually a really funny guy.
Yeah, and but that's another one too that I'm like, his story is really cool. Um,
Hmm.
somebody who could have gave up,
Yeah.
but he just he was just like, I'll be damned.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
y- you know, my son and I were talking about it the other day because both of us remember him, in Ring of Honor as Punishment Martinez,
uh-huh,
and even then you could tell the guy had something special, and
right,
and that in a few more years he was going to make it big, and sure enough he did. So
yeah.
so So you're based in North Carolina. What is your favorite thing about North Carolina?
Uh, I just I just like how much opportunity there is here.
Hmm.
Um, there's just so many, when whatever you want to do.
Right.
It's got everything. It's got the city, it's got the countryside, it's got the in between, it's got all of that. So it's a really nice place to live. It's not too big, and there's so many different things you can see. And like I said, the opportunity in wrestling and other things outside of wrestling, you could pursue anything you want in North Carolina. To be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, I live about 30 miles northeast of Atlanta. Where we are, we're sort of in the area where suburbia starts to meet rural. And so it's nice because we've got the amenities of a big city nearby, but we're far enough out that we don't have all of the stuff that a big city brings with it too. So it's really been a perfect place to live.
Right.
So, they say the best wrestling personas are usually pretty much yourself turned up to 11. So, kind of tell us about In Ring Blade and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
So in ring Blade is somebody who is extremely confident in his abilities,
Hmm.
and it don't matter. You throw one person or 50 different people at him, he's gonna come out on top. He's not gonna stop because the hard work that he has put in outside of the ring, you can't tell him that he's not ready for anything that presents himself inside of the ring. Feel me? How does
I
that
do.
relate to me in my everyday life? I'm gonna just be completely honest. Like I said, I grew up playing football, played throughout college and all that. Um, One of my biggest regrets about myself is never believing in myself enough. I always put in the work. I always went hard, and it's like I had a decent career in high school and in college, but I feel like I left a lot on the table because I didn't
Hmm.
believe in myself like I should have. So how do I portray that in the ring, especially nowadays with this top of the food chain? Is me believing who I was always born to be. I've always had the work ethic. I've always had everything that always had all the tools. Now I'm at a stage of my life where you know what? I'm finally putting it together and I'm not going to keep holding myself back.
Absolutely, man. I hear that drive in your voice, man, and that is inspiring. So.
I appreciate that.
So, out of curiosity, where did you play football in college?
So I played at Concord University. It is a
Okay,
small Division II school up in Athens, West Virginia.
okay.
One stoplight town. I mean, literally, you blink, you gonna drive right through it. But I was there from 2017 to 2021.
Nice, nice. So, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts? Lay it on us. Tell us about the first one.
So I had just graduated about 2 months before, right?
Hmm.
And it was
Yeah.
finally time for me to no, a month before. And it was finally time for me to debut, right? So
Hmm.
pull up, it's at Firestar, and didn't know what I was doing, whatever, but I was like, one-on-one, whatever, I don't care. So it was originally supposed to be a triple threat match. And
Okay.
it was between me, Indie King JT, and his dude named Wyatt Sutton, right?
Okay.
We talking it out, we doing our thing. Next thing you know, this dude from Georgia, you probably know him. His name is Teriyaki.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he comes up.
Yeah.
His opponent doesn't show up, so he's
Oh.
like, "Hey, I just got." We're honestly done with this triple threat. Like we done did everything, and I'm like, "All right, let me go through it." Or whatever. He comes up, "Hey, I just got added to y'all's match," and we all just
No,
look
no,
at
it's
each
a fatal four way.
other like, "Freak!" So I'm sitting over there. I'm not saying nothing. I'm like, it's my first time. This is what I know how to do, and I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to let me do half of it because I'm brand new and y'all been doing it. So I'm just gonna listen. So Indie King JT, he's really smart. He knows what he's doing. Told Terry, they all know what they're doing. They all put themselves in. We planned it, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I walk out there. Everybody comes out. I appear. They don't know who I am, obviously. So I get the little pity praise or whatever. But I'm gonna be me. I've always been a high energy type of dude. So I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna be me. So I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm like, let's freaking go. And some people start feeling me, whatever. But then I get in the ring and I know for a fact that I'm still nervous because I get on the ring and I pose. The hard cam is over here. I don't got my back to the hard cam posing for the people. Indie King JT, he's a heel. He's like, hey, stupid. The hard cam is over there. But he's not, the stupid part is just him being a character or whatever.
Yeah,
But he's
of course.
really telling me, like, hey, man, hard cam over everything turns to hard cam, kid. Like, do it. Come on, man. And I'm like, he's like, snap out of it. Stop being so nervous. Let's go. You here. And I'm like, oh, crap, I'm tripping. But whatever. So we wrestling. We do the daggone thing. I end up hitting my finish. Boom. I go up. 1, 2, 3. The crowd gives me a nice little reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I pin Wyatt Sutton. He stands up. He shakes my hand. He raises my hand. Crowd is, coming up for me, whatever. I start to leave. I get an after a post-match interview.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the time, I was going by Mad Dog Blade Brown.
Okay.
Dude hands me the mic. He asks me the question, hands me the mic. Before I say anything, the whole crowd starts barking. And I'm like, what? Like, everybody's barking, going crazy. And I'm just like, so I start barking. Then we all bark. I give my interview. I say my final statement. No stutters, no nothing. Hand it back. Theme music hits. They start cheering for me. And now I'm like, okay, I might got something I can run with for a while. And, that was my first match.
Man, that is a cool story. Wow. I mean, that's just that's a God moment.
Yeah.
I mean, God brought some cool circumstances to you that night.
He did. Like, it was amazing because I had waited so long to be able to finally do it, and it came, and it was more than what I expected. And it was started off nerve-wracking with the triple threat turned into a fatal four-way, but it was just that's when I also learned, like, hey, bro, it don't matter, just always be you. In wrestling, it matters, just be you, bro.
Yep. So, we've heard about the first one. Now tell us, if you can narrow it down, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
Wrestle Revival 2023.
Okay.
So the stipulation goes like this. Me, at the time, our Southeastern champion at Firestar, Oliver Sawyer, right?
Okay.
So me, Bojack, Duke O'Connor, SoFly Manny Low, and the Amazing Draken, we get put into like a fan vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the vote faces Oliver Sawyer for the championship that night. The other 4, fatal four-way. If you win the fatal four-way, you get a shot at that title at a future show. So
nice.
The fan vote went all the way up until the show started, pretty much, as fans were even coming in. So it was from the announcement, they had a little poll on the website, and then it went all the way up into the fan vote. So we get up, to the day of the show. So we get to the day of the show, and there's a tie. Me, Bojack. We rock, paper, scissors it in the back. Bojack wins, so he faces Oliver Sawyer. So it's me, Draken, Manny, Duke O'Connor in a fatal four-way. And it was just one of them things where it was like, we just had fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we just had, I love, multi-man matches, they suck the call, but once they put it together, it's put together nicely, man, there's so much fun. You can do so many different things. So we just went out there and we just had a good time, and the crowd freaking loved it. Everybody went crazy. We all did what we had to do. Jumping all over the place. It was power. It was a perfect blend of power and speed. It was also at a time where we were all confident in who we were as wrestlers, or starting to gain that confidence of who we are as wrestlers, starting to know who we. So we were just out there having fun and experimenting, and everything just went well. It's up on my YouTube, and it was just relaxed, and it was just a fun experience.
Awesome. Awesome. So I know everybody has them, but what would you say is your biggest in-ring pet peeve?
Ooh. Uh, my biggest in-ring pet peeve is stuff that just don't look real, or you know, like I don't. But this is wrestling. Like I don't mind. Hit me. I don't mind being hit. Yo. It's
Yeah.
wrestling. Of course, like don't take no liberties or something. But it's wrestling. Like we want the people to look at us and be like, oh man, oh like of course we do things safely, but these people are paying for this, man. Let's go. Let's be
Yeah.
aggressive. I love aggressive wrestling, so I hate
Yeah.
non-aggressive wrestling.
I got you, and it's funny. I've asked that question in the majority of these, and that's what you just said is one of the more popular answers. When an opponent in the ring holds back. I
Yeah,
mean,
let's go because I'm gonna give it to you, so please give it to me. I don't mind. It's wrestling. Like I don't mind.
absolutely. You know, um, as a fan, one of the things that looks like it is just the worst thing in the ring is some of these chops. I mean, you see a chop heavy match, and at the end, their chest looks like raw hamburger. It's like, wow,
Yeah,
yeah, chops look like they're just nasty.
I personally don't mind them. Because I got
Hmm.
muscle on my chest, so it don't
Yeah,
matter to me. Gunther can chop me, and I'm gonna be all right. I promise.
yeah,
I
yeah.
promise.
So, in terms of your in ring work and your promos, who would you say are some of your influences? Who has helped shape Blade Brown into the worker that he is?
Guys like Monty Brown,
Hmm.
try to take
Yeah,
out a little bit. Um, Farouk,
yeah,
guys like him. Shelton Benjamin, love him. Um, I try to take after a little bit of, Triple H. I like seeing him.
hmm,
I like just the aggressiveness and intensity of like Kurt Angle.
oh yeah,
I try to steal from that, guys like that. I like the guys, got some muscle on them and got some tenacity to them.
absolutely. Speed round, Scott Hall.
Freaking amazing and cool.
Yeah, 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 man.
Cool.
I was, uh, you know, I've been a fan since I was around 11, and I'll be 56 this fall. So I've been around for a lot, and getting to see the Monday Night Wars start to finish, and seeing Scott Hall and Kevin Nash show up out of the crowd in WCW to basically kick off the NWO. Man, I liked Scott Hall, when he was in, back then it was WWF as Razor Ramon, but I actually liked him better just as the Scott Hall persona in the NWO and all of that. But yeah, I'm a huge Scott Hall fan.
Yeah, I love watching his matches. I go back and watch old school matches all the time, and he's one of the
Hmm.
I like to go back and watch. Like I said, I thought he was cool. When I do watch him, he just seems really cool to me. Like his entrance, his strut on his entrance,
Hmm.
like it's just he's a dope performer. Rest in
For
peace to him.
sure. Absolutely. So, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
Great on the mic.
Okay. Why?
Simple. Being great on the mic can take you to superstardom. It can take you places and it can keep you around a lot longer than being great in the ring. Now, also because you use the word great, all right? If you're decent in the ring and great on the mic, you can be a freaking super. I believe you could be a superstar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so just because use the word great, like to be great, that takes years anyway. You know, and it's one of the things where it's like if the fans can't connect with you via the microphone, like if you don't have anything that can draw them in, it's gonna be a lot harder. It's gonna be a lot harder for you to get anywhere.
Absolutely. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? A match that you can have watched it a million times, but you still find yourself kind of gravitating back to it, and there's always just something special about it. You got a match like that?
I have a couple.
Okay, go for it.
I'll take one of them, Cena versus Lashley at the Great American Bash in 07.
Mm-hmm.
So that match was amazing. Like just two brawlers going at it, and I just felt like that was a night where Lashley like really came. That's
Came
why I
into
hated
his own.
after that, man, because he really hit it after that. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was fire. Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle
Yep.
at WrestleMania. I don't think it really gets much better than that. I personally consider Kurt Angle to be one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. Kurt Angle was a freaking dog.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Angle and Brock at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like I can watch that over and over and over, and I mean in the back to back the same day, 24 hours straight. I can watch the match over and over.
Yeah, and just the fact that the guy wrestled himself to a gold medal with a broken neck. I mean, that alone, even without everything that he did in professional wrestling, that dude was a dog even then.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't.
that's just,
Can't teach
no, that's just pure and simple heart.
that. Agreed.
Absolutely. So, in your opinion, who are the best male and female wrestlers in the world right now?
Right now.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Blade Brown. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, of course. I mean, aside from you, I mean,
I feel like Seth Rollins. I mean, he's been riding that wave for a long time. I personally believe that. AJ Styles.
yeah,
I don't really think brother can be touched by anyone. And that's just being real. Bianca Belair.
mm-hmm.
No, I don't think she can be touched right now. She can make gold out of anything.
Yeah.
I say, AJ, Bianca, Seth, Randy.
Yeah.
Randy Orton makes claim to that easily. Like everything about him, like that's somebody when you look at somebody and say, man, they have perfected their craft. It's him.
Yeah.
It's him. Like he can't be touched.
Yeah. And the thing you were mentioning AJ Styles, man, the thing about him, he's not that much younger than I am. And to still be operating at the level he is operating at his age is just amazing. It's like it's like age has not really dramatically impacted what he brings to the table in terms of just his overall wrestling. Right. I mean, the guy is just unreal.
Yeah, like he's still. I mean, of course, he doesn't do the exact same things he did when I was a kid.
Well, of course not, but
to me, it's like you really couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah,
you couldn't tell the difference. Like amazing. He's what everybody aspires to be at his age in terms of wrestling.
And for that matter, I mean, another similar situation is Matt and Jeff Hardy. I mean, they are still operating at an amazingly high level for their age. I mean, it's just, it's unreal. That match they had recently with Fraxium was just bonkers.
Right. Yeah.
So And this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent? Who would Blade Brown love to share a ring with?
Booker T. Freaking love Booker T. Booker T. So I'm gonna do, and honestly, right now, I would love to share a ring with Braun Breaker.
Oh man, I could actually see the two of you having a banger.
Yeah,
Braun Breaker he is just insane. I mean,
yeah, the perfect like athlete turned wrestler who just got it,
mm-hmm.
rolling with it. Like
Yeah.
that's somebody who's just like, yeah, lead the charge into the future.
Mm-hmm. You know, I want to see Braun Breaker have a program with Fatu.
Oh, that would go stupid.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker having like a series of matches together? Good Lord.
That would be that. Yeah, that's something that needs to happen. Of course, that's not. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Make sure the fans are at a good distance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's stop away to the arena.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to see that, and in terms of another opponent that I'd like to see Braun Breaker work a program with would be Bronson Reed.
Oh yes.
I mean, yeah.
Bronson Reed is also insane.
Yeah, he's one of those big men that moves like a much smaller man, and is able to do things that a man his size shouldn't be able to do. He kind of defies the laws of physics. I mean,
yeah, he is ridiculous. He's huge. He's huge.
Yeah, he's a lot of man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So do you have, I'm going to use kind of a literary term here, and basically, do you have a foil? Meaning, I guess, an arch rival or someone that you have amazing in-ring chemistry with, that you always know that if you're working with that person, you're going to have a banger. Do you have a person like that?
SoFly, Manny Lowe.
Nice.
SoFly, Manny Lowe. Like, I know, yeah, it's always going to be, because both of us are just down to do whatever, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Together plenty of times, and it's like, and that dude is just he's really smart. I'm just being honest. Like, I think he's kind of underrated. We'll talk about somebody that's gonna be somewhere. It's him.
Gotcha. You got any particular words for him if he happens to see this?
Yeah. Your days with that 5-star heavyweight championship is numbered. Just because I'm injured, that don't mean my sights have been set elsewhere. No, I'm still got my eyes on the target, my eyes on the prize, and it's yours, and it's you.
Nice. Speed round. Kevin Owens.
Undeniable.
Yeah. I hope he has a good comeback with this neck surgery. Necks are a tricky thing. It really kind of varies person to person as to how well you're going to come back from that. And the guy is so amazingly talented that I would hate to see things be cut short for him.
Yeah, you hate to hear that about anybody. Like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
No.
Seriously. I mean, I hate to see somebody's, especially because I'm going through it right now myself, but it's like I hate to see somebody's passion get taken away from him, but especially somebody like him, because like mine, like, I know I'm going to recover. I'm going to be fine. Like, this isn't something that's too crazy. Neck is like, you have to seriously consider what you're doing, and you have to weigh the pros and cons. And I pray that his situation, that the pros outweigh the cons, because like I said, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I hate it for him.
No, man. And Yeah, because with a neck and all that's associated with that, you have to start considering quality of life and everything else. So it's not an easy situation, that's for sure. So, what is your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do or you would at least rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
Okay. Favorite move? The
Yeah.
belly, the overhead belly suplex. It's gonna get the crowd up every time. And when you're like, you're built a certain way, you just throw somebody across the ring. I freaking love it. I do that move. I spam that move.
You're just sitting there hitting the button, huh?
Yeah, everybody's going over. Everybody's going over. So
Nice.
that and a move that I'd rather like. I'm not scared, like I do it, but I'm gonna put them both on the same level. The Canadian Destroyer and the Poison Rana.
Yeah.
I'm real particular, when it comes to this. My head, my neck, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, I ain't scared. Like, find somebody I trust me do it, cool, whatever. But I'm gonna definitely be like, you sure you don't want to do anything?
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to do something else? You do something else. We gotta do that. We can do something else.
Absolutely, man. You know, um, you don't really see this much anymore, and it's definitely probably a good thing. But a move as a fan that always gives me the shivers when I see it being set up for is the vertebreaker. Man, that move just looks like it has so many different ways it could go catastrophically wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And and back in the Attitude Era, the vertebreaker was like you would see that all the time. And now, thankfully, you don't see it much anymore. And I think there's good reasons for that. And I mean, it would probably also depend on who you're working with, their level of experience, how much you trust that person, that kind of thing. But I don't know, that move, I always kind of get the willies when I see that being set up for.
Yeah, understood.
So, you've been doing this long enough that I'm sure this probably applies to one degree or another. And I mean, in your case, I probably know the answer, but what hurts right now, aside from the pack? Anything hurting?
Honestly, at this moment, no.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, like I'm good. I a lot of people probably be like raising eyebrows right now because I tore my pec. But when it comes to recovery and all of that, I take it very serious. The science is all out there about how to take care of your body when you're an athlete, and as somebody who knows the effects of not taking care of their body from football
Hmm.
and all that, I started to when I started wrestling, I started to take care of my body a lot more through different things in the gym, at home. So I don't have too many things that like really hurt me on a day-to-day basis, you know.
That's good.
And that's just
That's
being
good. So, if you could narrow it down to one or two things, what would you say are the most important lesson or lessons your time in professional wrestling has taught you?
um man, don't compare. I know you hear it all the time. The comparison is the thief of joy, and
Yeah.
it's really easy to see in wrestling because we're all a community, tight knit community, and somebody else's way in somewhere may not be your way in somewhere.
Right.
Somebody else's time for them to get called up to get the opportunity, it may not be your time. That may even be somebody as close as your tag team partner. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
that's just how it is. And it's like, you compare, you start rushing and then you start doing things that don't make any sense and you cost yourself. Um, you know, your journey is really your journey. And I know it sucks to hear that sometimes, when you want something so bad. So you want something as bad as you do, but it's just not happening at the rate that you want. But that's where you just need to trust God and just, focus on you and your journey. All right. Focus on you
Ab-
today.
Absolutely. So I was just looking over at the Instagram chat, and Firewife Long is in the Instagram chat, and she says hello. She says Blade is amazing. Her son Caden looks up to him so much.
Yeah. If you know anything about wrestling in Carolina, you know Kaden. Kaden, he's going to be front row, loud and proud with his mask, with his lucha mask on, and his replica belt, and he's going to go crazy from start to finish. And that kid understands wrestling. He knows wrestling, and if anybody, the whole crowd could be dead, that kid won't be.
That's awesome.
And just got to be
And
like, I'm performing for him.
and that's a mom that's raising her kid right.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, seriously, she's amazing. She goes above and beyond to make sure that he gets his wrestling fix every month.
Man, that's awesome. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
I think it's very helpful, especially with indie wrestling, because the big companies, they got different avenues. I mean, yeah, they got social media too, but they can also, they got the money to run ads and commercial. And I mean, like successful ads that can go worldwide, honestly. Whether that's who really reads the newspaper anymore, but that could be newspaper, be magazines, that could be commercials, YouTube ads, all of those different things. Social media is the best thing that an indie promotion has. I mean, obviously, put boots to the ground. They go out, talk to people, flyers, go get sponsors. Yeah, they still do that, and there's a lot of promotions that do that. But social media, man, if a wrestling promotion has a good social media presence, it does wonders. And I mean, you can see it all around. Some places that got some dope social media, that's a dope social media presence. Firestar has one, and Firestar not even really so much with the promotion itself, but also the training school. Training school got more followers and a bigger presence than the daggone actual promotion, but both are really good. Um, RVA in Virginia, their social media presence is ridiculous, out of this world. Um, Viral Pro Wrestling in Georgia, their social
Mm-hmm.
their social media presence is out of this world. And you look at it, and it's just so cool to see. So it's very beneficial. It makes a difference.
Absolutely. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
It's gonna go back to the question you asked a couple minutes ago. I would tell him, yo, don't compare. Focus
Yeah.
on you. Focus on you. That's all. Focus on you. I feel like if you don't compare and you focus on you, I feel like that can solve a lot of problems.
Yep.
I feel like that can solve a lot of people's problems if they take that aspect away.
Yep. Just just be you and bet on yourself.
That's all you can do.
Yep.
Somebody gonna feel it. One thing that Kozone told me, um, not too long. Oh, it was a couple years ago. We were training. He was just like, man, the only way you don't get anywhere in wrestling is if you give up. And
Yep.
giving up giving up look like different things. It could be completely stopping. It could be no longer invest. You could no longer investing in yourself, meaning like you're still wrestling, but you're not training as much. You're not going to the gym as much. You're not getting out as much. Like it's so many different ways you could quote unquote give up in wrestling. You could stop sending your stuff out. That's
Yep.
another way to give up. So, like you told me, man, the only way you don't get anywhere is if you give up. So,
Absolutely. Speed round. Diamond Dallas Page.
man, I know speed ride, David Dallas Page, example.
Yeah.
I'll say he's just an example. He
Yeah.
didn't
I
let
mean,
stop him.
no, no. And, and what he has done with his life since retiring from the ring, Man, he has made a difference in so many people's lives with the yoga program and everything he's got going, man. The guy is truly incredible.
Yeah, and what did he say? He started when he was what, 35?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, he got started way older than most people,
Yeah.
and good for him. I mean, what a story!
Yeah.
What a story! So, do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
Um, really pray. That's just the main thing. I pray. Pray to the Lord. I'm a Christian. Pray to the good Lord Jesus Christ. I thank Him. I specifically I thank Him for the opportunity to be able to do this because I don't have to do this. Clearly, I don't have. You don't. It's not a right. It's a privilege.
Yep.
Um, I pray for the health of not only me but my opponent and everybody on the show.
Yep.
And I pray for everybody to get their money's worth. Everybody just have a good time and we all put on a good show because we all can't do this. We all need each other. Everybody at the show, involved with the show, needs each other. I'm talking about everybody who sets the ring up, the announcers, the wrestlers, the referee, the ring runners, the camera guys, everybody. We all need each other. So
Yep. So, just kind of a quick rundown. What all do you carry in your gear bag? Do you have anything unusual that you carry in your bag, or is it just the typical stuff? Give us a rundown of what's in the bag.
I carry the typical stuff. And then special occasions, I will carry Scrapyard Dog's chain. Because before he passed away, he had planned to give it to me once he retired because
Hmm.
he really just believed in me. And in me going about the doing the whole dog thing to start off, he loved it, he rocked with it, he liked me, and he wanted to give it to me. So there's special occasions where I'll bring that. Um, like if I got to do a dog collar match, I've done two,
Hmm.
so sometimes that'll stay with me. Um, But other than that, it's just the typical things, the typical items. And my inhaler. I got asthma. So.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Uh, Out of curiosity, have you ever had an asthma flare up during a match?
So yeah, my first year wrestling, I wrestled at a fair shows outside. I wrestled with my shirt off. My
Okay.
asthma was well controlled, except for when if seasons change and I'm just out there
Hmm.
exposed in the cold. Yeah,
Yeah.
my flare up. So, the next couple of weeks. So it's weird having asthma because, I'm in shape. Like I'm not tired, but I sometimes like I can't breathe. And so I could be huffing and puffing, but I can still go, you know. So it was just a couple weeks after that show or every show that I had until my lungs were able to settle back down and acclimate to the time of the year.
Yeah.
Um, every match that I was in at the time, I was having flare ups in there, and I was having to fight through that. And that's where I made the vow that I'll probably never wrestle shirtless in the cold again.
Yeah. Uh, for a number of years, I actually worked as a paramedic. So because of that, I've sort of got a bit of an understanding of anatomy and the way certain things work. And I had an experience. I used to, one of my hobbies used to be I did a little bit of distance running and did some 5Ks and 10Ks and such back in the day. And I did one in it had just gotten cold here in Georgia, and afterward, for a couple of hours, I did nothing but cough. And what it was is the cold air, there's these tiny sacs down in the lungs called alveoli. And the cold air gets down in there and it's used to basically having warm air. And when it gets cold air down in those sacs, it basically triggers a coughing reflex because it wants the cold out of there. And that probably is what helped aggravate your asthma. It's just being out there shirtless in the cold air.
Yeah,
So
sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's wild, man. So, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So, my guest last night was a wrestler from New York City by the name of Andy Lee Ray. And the question that he posed is, what is the best experience you've had in the ring with calling something on the fly?
Let's see. It was when I got to wrestle Kozon.
Okay.
We did the whole thing on the fly. That's how he teaches us. And
Yeah.
I was nervous about it going into that match. And I was trying to call stuff with him. And Cozy does this thing where he will completely ignore you if you're trying to do something in the ring that he doesn't want to do. So he literally just he kept ignoring me completely, and up until the match. And then he looked at me and he was like, "Don't you know how to work? I taught you how to work, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right, stop being nervous." So we went out there, and the whole match was the best experience because I don't know, I just felt like I learned a lot. Like he just, and even the stuff that I was trying to call, even though he ignored me beforehand, the stuff that I was trying to call, he put into the match anyway. So I got to be able to do the stuff that I wanted to do. Like one thing I wanted to do was an up and over, because I feel like I have pretty up and over. To do an up and over into like a big spear. So we were in the ring. I didn't even know what was next. The crowd was going crazy. They loved it. They were in tune. And then he was like, "All right, versus up and over spear." I was like, I got wide eyed, and I was like, "Really?" And freaking went boom, and the crowd got up for that. They were like, "Oh my god!" And it was in the back of it was in somebody's backyard, in this little shed. We were doing a birthday show for somebody, but that was like my 4th match ever. But dog, it was it was fun, and it just kind of helped me relax.
Yeah.
That just helped me relax. Like wrestling is it's just wrestling. Like just calm down. Like at the end of the day, we got it. No matter who we are, we got it. Just have fun. We got it.
Absolutely. So I was looking at the chat on Facebook, and Matthew Ennis, one of my previous guests and a great guy himself, said that you're one of the best humans and talents out there.
Ah, my God, I appreciate it. He's out there holding it down, daggone, in Florida.
He is, man. He is working hard, and man, good things are coming for that guy.
Man, he just got up. People like him are dope. He just got up and was like, "You know what? I have a goal, and I'm not gonna let anything stop me. I'm gonna go reach it." And I mean, that's what he went down there and did that, and he's doing it. And like you said, I don't know where he's going, but it's gonna be somewhere good.
For sure. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to ask for the next guest?
Yeah, simple. What's your goal?
Okay.
What my question? What's your goal? What's your goal? What do you want to do?
Nice. So, how would you answer that? What is your goal for the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, man, to be signed. And I would take any opportunity. Obviously, opportunity is opportunity, but time waits for no man. I want to make it in the WWE. That's just being
Yeah.
real. And I plan to hit things pretty hard once this thing heals up. Like, I've had a lot of time to think and reflect on me, and I just feel like I ain't been doing enough. Like, I just feel like personally my effort hasn't matched the goal that I have. And time waits for no man, like I say. and I don't have to do this. So once I heal up, I'm gonna make sure that my effort matches the goal.
Gotcha. So, I know that, right now, with recovering from the pectoral surgery, you probably don't really have any shows to line up, or any shows coming up, but do you have anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to right now?
Actually, yeah, I would, because I don't like to stay down just because I'm not all the way in. This Saturday in Selma, North Carolina, at Richards B. Harrison Gym, Dominant Championship Wrestling has a show. All right, DCW,
Nice.
Selma, North Carolina, everybody, it's popping. Right, so if you're in North Carolina, make the trip, go to Selma. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Richard B. Harrison Gym. Also, next Saturday, May 24th, is new promotion. This is going to be the third show. Newborn Wrestling. Newborn Wrestling. And it is on fire. Doing things the right way. It's in Knightdale, North Carolina. And you want to be there because, they got some good names coming in. Now, Mark James going to be there. Joe Black's going to be there. So,
Man, I'd love Mark James to death. That guy is awesome.
bro, when people talk about like vets,
Mm-hmm.
who like when people say leave it better than you found it, and not he hasn't left. Obviously, he's still doing the daggone thing, but he's literally like, when he does leave, that's who you're gonna look at when it's like leave it better than you found it. Because he's first of all, he's a dog. He's 40 plus years old, and he's out there freaking balling. He's out here moving and wrestling like he's daggone 20 something, and he's
Yep.
intense. He's insane. I've always liked the big brawler type wrestlers anyway. I like the intense dudes. High flying and stuff is cool, but I like somebody who's just gonna go in there and beat the tar out of you, and that's Mark James.
Yep.
And then he's freaking like, he's always helpful to everybody. It don't matter who you are. Like, he's helpful. It's your second match. The promoter's like, hey man, Mark needs you to put this guy over. You're gonna go out there and put them over in the best way. Like, freaking,
Yep.
the dog. He's a dog.
Absolutely. So as far as what we've got coming up here on the Throwdown, this Sunday, the 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 121 with a guy named Gage Vineyard, who he is a fellow pro wrestling podcaster, and he goes by the Cincy Wrestling Enthusiast. He's based in Cincinnati. And then this next Monday, the 19th at 7 p.m., I've got episode 122 with pro wrestler Player One, Johnny Cass. And then Tuesday, the 20th at 7 p.m., I've got episode 123 with Atlanta-based ring announcer, the People's Princess, Salem Alexander. And I've actually got a whole lot more coming. I'm actually booked up pretty much until toward the end of June. But I try to sort of announce things about a week in advance. So definitely keep an eye on my socials because I've actually got some really cool stuff on the horizon that I'm definitely excited to announce. So definitely keep a close eye because big things are coming. So before we wrap this up, do you have any final words you'd like to say to the audience?
I miss y'all. I miss wrestling. I miss
No
it.
doubt, man.
Freaking love it. Anybody out there, don't take anything that you love to do that you can do right now. Don't take it for granted. I don't care if it's freaking wrestling or bird watching in the park. Because one day your binoculars might break. I don't know. Just freaking love what you do. Do what you love, man, and just keep God first, please. Because this is gonna get you through the hard times. He's gonna be there. He's gonna be there when what you want to do ain't gonna be there. So
absolutely, man. And you've got your priorities in the right place, man, and that alone is going to take you far.
I appreciate it, big man, for real.
And this is actually a QR code for my link tree that's got links to all of my various social media. So click on that, go over there, and go to my various socials and give me a follow. We've also got a merchandise store. There's a QR code for that. You know, I've got shirts, hats, coffee mugs, etc., etc. And then, you know, if you're liking what we've got going here and you want to help offset production costs, you know, you can feel free to buy us a coffee. I mean, you know, this show doesn't really cost a lot to produce, but there are some production costs. And like I said, if you like what we've got going here and you want to help out, that's a way that you could definitely contribute. But I mean, mostly if you like what we've got going here, just do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like I said, I'll be back Sunday night with Gage Vineyard, the Cincinnati wrestling enthusiast. And in the meantime, love each other, be good to each other. Remember, Jesus loves you. And let's just keep